Businesses are preparing for the UAE's new 9% corporate tax, which comes into effect in June. It's important that businesses plan for the smooth implementation of the corporate tax over these next few months. And joining me for some guidance is Dr. Nabeel Ahmed, partner at DVS Management Consultancy. Thank you for joining me today, Dr. Nabeel. Now, first, what steps do businesses need to take to prepare for the higher corporate tax rate?
Thank you, Rabia, for having me here. So now, with the introduction of corporate tax, a proper corporate governance structure will be a requirement for all companies operating in the UAE. Hence, companies will need to implement an accurate accounting and auditing mechanism. Even today, if you see, many large family-run businesses in the UAE do not have such practices, and businesses need to gear up to it. It will increase the demand for local accountants, financial auditors, financial controllers, and of course, encourage people to study and develop their skills in these fields. So a key takeaway for this question, a company need to focus on the new law of light to ensure a legal, financial, governance structure, their commercial, contractual and employment arrangement, the transactional flow and financial matter. And last but not the least, the announcement regarding the corporate tax is done in the beginning of 2022 and still with 6 months in hand. I think companies in the UAE have fairly a good lead time to prepare for these changes. If such tax planning has not already begun, we recommend prompt action for companies to get started from now.
So new employment opportunities are going to come from this tax hike. That's one benefit. Now, this 9% tax is on income exceeding $102,000. And there are different rules for free zone and for mainland companies. What's better for companies below and above this tax threshold?
Of course, as we don't have a one-size-fits-all solution right now, but rightly said, a company's net profit, that is their revenues minus all the expenses, we arrive at the profits. When the accrued profit exceeds 375 dirhams or $102,000, for the profit amount exceeding that 375,000 dirhams, there will be a 9% corporate taxes applicable. However, the rules for free zones and mainlands will vary a bit, but this depends completely on the nature of business one intends to carry. UAE, however, has intended and shown its honor towards the free zone tax holidays and exemption, and therefore it is an appropriate time for various businesses both in the free zone and in the mainland to conduct a legal and a strategic review of their business operation. In the essence, it means that with an appropriate corporate structure, it should be possible for a free zone business to maintain a tax holiday status. But it completely depends on the complexity of the business operation, and this may require planning, and we recommend that this planning begins immediately. In addition to that, a free zone group that maintains business relationship within the mainland and having most of the business in the mainland can restructure the business. Similarly, a business in the mainland having most of the revenues coming from the free zone can do a wise tax planning for the coming days.
Okay, now this tax will be applicable across all of the Emirates and will apply to all business and commercial activities. What are the biggest concerns you're hearing from the business community here in terms of absorbing this new tax rate?
We have already seen business in the UAE generally gearing up in the wake of implementation of VAT and excise regimes in the last few years. And in turn, we have also seen the government, they've come up and supported businesses by showing leniency on issues relating to non-compliance, by significantly reducing penalties and extending time limits for paying those penalties. So having said this, people and the business community today, they're fairly geared up and they're very well prepared, and they're appreciating that the 9% corporate taxes implemented in the UAE is still one of the most competitive rates globally. It's pertinent to note that corporate taxes shall be imposed only on the profits accrued and not on the total turnover of the business. So only concern that we see from business community would be their data management. They are working in such a way that even in the future, when there are regulatory changes to these corporate tax regime, they want their data to be managed in such a way that they can implement these changes very quickly and adhere to the FTA norms rather than playing catch up with the new laws. So it's all about data management and keeping their books in order.
Adaptability. Okay, and now you have a long history with tax advisory. Do you think this increased tax actually paves the way for other taxes to be levied in the UAE, such as income tax, for example?
It's a very, very interesting question, but it would be very speculative to comment on it now. But I can just give you a heads up on it. In October 2013, the government was looking at taxing foreign remittances, and it was consulting with key stakeholders including banks, financial institutions and other businesses. However, as on date, it has not been implemented. And it is also important to note that over 70 to 80% of the UAE population are expats, and a lot of them have come here to support their families back home. And if the regulations by way of taxes block that, it would reduce the effectiveness and attractiveness. So in fact, even if we expect some sort of levies to come in the future, it's going to be very nominal if at all they are imposed. So I don't see any such new taxes coming in the near future, but it could be quite speculative.
Well, we certainly hope not. Thanks so much for your guidance today, Dr. Nabeel Ahmed, partner at DVS Management Consultancy.